my parents taught me more about qualities that are needed when dealing with children than anyone I've ever known. They always took the time to remind me of the importance and lasting effects of showing appreciation, the value of common sense, and the need for humor and laughter in the lives of us all. They are so loving and dear to me, and I can never thank them enough for the sacrifices they made for me and their dedication in trying to raise me in the best possible way. This past year, I've had the opportunity to travel all over the country, to leave my classroom and enter those of others, to speak to teachers and parents, and to learn about education in America. On my travels to schools and districts in 49 states, I have met numerous individuals who also possess the special qualities shared by many of my teachers and my parents. After meeting so many exceptional individuals, I decided to compile a list of the 11 qualities that seem to be present in all exceptional teachers and parents. I hope this serves as a guide to you and assists you not only as you display these qualities yourself, but also as you attempt to impart them to the hearts and minds of your children and students. Quality number 1, enthusiasm. I list this quality first for a reason. Nothing is more important than having enthusiasm. If you are a teacher, the students will be excited about learning a lesson if you are eager and excited about teaching it. If you are a parent, children will care about things if they see that they mean a lot to you and that you are energized by them. Children are impressionable, and when they look to adults for guidance, we must inspire them and motivate them to want to learn, to have a desire to achieve, and to want to be the best person they can be. Enthusiasm is contagious. The end-of-grade test scores are looked at very closely in North Carolina. At the end of one school year, our faculty and staff were all nervous about hearing whether our school would be designated low-performing, just met growth, or if it was an exemplary school. We were in a financially disadvantaged area, and I always felt that we were playing catch-up with our students, trying our best to get them on grade level. Some years we saw outstanding growth, but the students, no matter how far they came, didn't score on level. It was frustrating and demoralizing for all the teachers. Some individual teachers would get wonderful results with their students, but we didn't seem to be able to pull it all together as a school. In my 4th year at Snowden Elementary, however, the entire school was named an exemplary school. It was a huge boost to the teachers and the staff, and we were all so excited that we wanted to do something to show the students how much their achievements meant to us. The ideas we came up with cost money, and since it was the end of the year, none of our plans seemed possible on such short notice. A group of us started talking about how neat it would be to have a teacher talent show as a salute to the students. We would dress up as our favorite musical star from the 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s and lip sync before the entire student body. I have this thing about surprises, so we agreed that we wouldn't tell the students what was going on. We would just take them to the gymatorium one day and give them a shock. Our idea was great, but there was a problem. Many teachers didn't want to do it. They felt the students would lose respect for them and they would look foolish. They said it was too much work, they didn't have a costume or know the words to any songs, and they had no time to practice. There was a great deal of pessimism and a lack of morale. On the other hand, the small group of teachers I was working with was enthusiastic and excited about the show, and they kept at it, encouraging other teachers, helping them find costumes, and putting the music together. One teacher, Mrs. Bagalauer, was very negative. She wasn't one of the students' favorite teachers because she basically just sat at her desk all day, earning the students' nickname for her, Mrs. Bagaflower. She said there was no way she was getting on that stage, but I knew the kids would love it if she participated. A small group of teachers was going to perform Charlie Brown, and I suggested to Mrs. Bagalauer that she sit at a desk and play the part of a student, and just throw paper at the teacher along with the other students. It took a lot of persuading, but finally she agreed. Slowly but surely, the enthusiastic teachers started to spread their energy around to the other faculty members. We reminded everyone what the show was for and told them how much it would affect the students. We showed them how excited we were about the show, and we put a little pressure on them to take part. As they heard about the great ideas others had and the effort they were putting into their performances, some of them wanted to become part of the show. As everyone started to get involved, everyone became more excited, and no one wanted to be left out. There was one last obstacle. A teacher named Miss Brocard said she wasn't going to perform because she wanted a certain rendition of the song she was singing, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, and no one could find it. She said she knew all the words to it, and if that rendition was found, she would put on the show of a lifetime. If it wasn't found, she would not participate. Good grief, the drama. Luckily, my dad used to be a disc jockey in the 70s, and I found myself looking through boxes and boxes of his old albums. When I finally found that song, I felt as if I had actually climbed a mountain myself. I walked in the next morning and showed the record to Mrs. Brocard. She looked a little shocked, a little scared, and a little worried, but she also looked a little excited. Soon the day came for the show, and as with any school, word had spread that something was going on, but the students couldn't figure out what it was. The students had caught a few glimpses during the week. A feather boa sticking out of Mistress Willard's car trunk, teachers passing cassette tapes back and forth, Mistress Wilson staring into space while bobbing her head and making short movements with her feet, and everyone on the faculty walking with a little pep in their step. We told our students at lunchtime that they would be going to the gym later for a surprise, but that any misbehavior whatsoever would ruin it for everyone. Parents and substitutes watched our classes while we transformed ourselves behind the stage. Soon, the extravaganza began. When the curtain opened, the students were informed that they were about to witness a presentation in their honor for their outstanding efforts that year. They were told it was a gift from the teachers because they appreciated each and every one of them, and that they were doing this because they cared for all the students of Snowden. And then came the magic. Teachers who had never seemed to show enthusiasm or spark were standing before the students, dressed to the nines, dancing and singing away. Mistress Sawyer was transformed into Diana Ross. Miss Moore shocked everyone as Olivia Newton-John from Greece. Mistress Zerfis joined with 3 others to form the Spice Girls, a crowd favorite. And Mistress Brocard walked out to cheers as she sang, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. You know, after all that effort, she didn't really know all the words to that song, but she sure put on a show, grinning from ear to ear and working that music. The kids absolutely loved it, and their behavior was perfect, clapping loudly, paying attention, and showing respectful gratitude with several standing ovations. Something was different about our school after that day. We were all a little closer, everyone seemed much happier, and our discipline problems went down drastically. Some said that the students wouldn't respect them if they sang and danced like that, but on the contrary, they seemed to respect and appreciate us a lot more. Enthusiasm is a powerful thing, and it is contagious. When you can use energy, excitement, and a spark to motivate others, you are affecting more people than you can ever know. Those students in Aurora still talk about that show we put on. They say they will never forget it. Whether you are a parent or a teacher, use your enthusiasm to motivate others and affect as many kids as possible. Don't take no for an answer. And when you come across those individuals who stand in your way, do whatever it takes to climb that mountain and take them with you. Enthusiasm is best when it serves a purpose. In my classroom, I spent a lot of time rapping lessons, dancing, jumping on desks, standing on my head, and doing whatever it takes to get my students excited and enthusiastic about learning. I have to remind myself constantly, however, that I must focus on the educational purpose behind my antics. I have to make sure that everything I do is not only motivating my students, but also meeting their challenges and helping them learn the concepts I'm trying to teach. The first year I taught, I decided to give my students a challenge. I told them that I expected them to memorize the names of all 42 presidents in order. They had to stand at the front of the classroom and say the names, giving facts about each president and each first lady along the way. This may be hard to understand, but I wanted those students to have a sense of accomplishment, something they could touch. Most of the students in that class had such little self-esteem and seemed to have already given up. I wanted them to accomplish something big, something great, so that they would have pride in their achievement. I also had an educational purpose because I was having the hardest time teaching my students American history. They, like most 10-year-olds, didn't have any concept of when events actually occurred in history and how long ago 50 years was opposed to 300 years. Before I decided to have them memorize the presidents, I tried using a timeline that stretched across the front of the room. It listed all the major events in the United States from the American Revolution